excited because I haven't been behind the camera in a very long time and I've missed you guys a lot. But I wanted to first start by saying that things have changed, but it's for the better, and we're going to hop right into it. You know that I'm a SuiteDash sensei, and I've always been honored to really know that that is a thing. But today I want to talk about one specific service that we have just implemented because I found that a lot of people didn't really want to build, they needed to just fix a workflow. And we created, if you looked at my page recently, we have a new space for SuiteDash itself where you get to select what your need is. I call it Let's Make SuiteDash Simple because a lot of times people say, hey, I just need to fix my current workflow, or I need an onboarding process, or can you build my full SuiteDash system, or I specifically need a tax process built out. There are people who need training and there's people who just don't know. And so those are the other two options here. But I want to talk directly about fix my current sprint. And so here, what you will notice is that this is going to be a sprint. And if you're not familiar with what sprint is, sprints are normally 1 to 2 weeks of a focused base build out. And we're focusing on build outs such as client workflows for onboarding, offboarding, project management, things of that nature. And it really just works very simply. We're trying to do a pre assessment first. It's 25 minutes. It's focused on me just having a conversation with you to review your current workflow. And then we're going to see if you're eligible. I don't always believe that people understand what a workflow is because sometimes we get misconstrued with all of the things around systems. But we qualify you, we get you started by sending you a proposal if you qualify, and then we literally get started. This is not just for SuiteDash though. This is literally for a general business workflow. So if you had one in another system that you're like, hey, I need help, there is another page that you can go to at the top of my page that will allow you to go and see the same information. It just doesn't have the word SuiteDash in it and takes you to another link. So there's two different concepts. And then the other big thing that I want to talk about is going to be the whole entire process. So I said, okay, you know what? Why not show you what I mean by actually having a workflow tune-up? I had to create my entire workflow tune-up process. And I want to show you how I did that so you can understand how I would possibly set up your workflow for your business. It's easier said than done in terms of visually showing you everything because there's a lot of pieces that work around it. But I wanted to dive in. So let's do that together. How does that sound? The first thing that obviously happened was the website. We did the website, but then I use Moxie for every. Let's start with the proposal. So the proposal was the first thing that I built out. I wanted to make sure that everything here was just all laid out. You have different factors of the proposal, and I needed to make sure it was smooth. So you have a standard proposal, okay? This is built out inside of Moxie. I use Moxie for all of my initial intake. So my proposals, my invoicing, that's just what's in Moxie right now. And I love it. The other thing that I did as well is I created some confirmation emails also within Moxie because it just makes sense to do so. And we have two types. You have the one that you will be using for the overall phone call. So when someone books a call, there's going to be reminder meetings. So you have one that's 24 hours before the meeting, and then you have one that is 1 hour before the meeting just for a reminder. And then once they actually confirm with the proposal, there is a placeholder that we send them. So there's a confirmation for your sprint actually starting. And then there is a 24-hour placeholder. Like once you book the time of your sprint, like the day of your sprint, you have that email. And then you have also the day of email that comes the day of your sprint. And then the other part of this is going to be so cool because we're going to jump into my actual task manager where we actually build out the sprint tracker. So you have the ability to see the overall tracker itself. So we currently have 2 sprints that are pending, and that is the proposal section. And I have some automation set up in here as well. So ClickUp is where I do all of this information. I set it up inside of ClickUp because ClickUp has been used since I think 2020 now with me. And there's a couple of different things. So what I've done is Zapier is going to, and I'll show you Zapier in a second, it's going to actually drop their proposal pending task inside of here once I send the proposal. And then inside of here, once a new proposal is pending, it's going to add a comment for us to add the information for the selected workflow and the goal. That's all on the actual proposal itself. And then the other thing that it does once the proposal is scheduled, and that means that proposal is signed, then it will also add a comment to say we booked one. And then also, I like to make that bold. And then I can even put a Giphy in here. I think that would make it fun, right? Let's do celebrate. I love the fact that we can customize so many things inside of a comment, but you can literally see that I would have that comment added after it's scheduled. And then the day 3 days before it started, which is the Friday before, we will then prep and initiate the actual sprint list. Inside of this space, you have the ability to start sprints, and I created a specific sprint folder. Listen, y'all, I'm very big on organization, so my ClickUp is very much tailored and outlined. And so we have a sprint folder that you can see here, and the template that will start utilizing is going to be this template here. So we actually are building it out with this template where we're onboarding, we're doing the setup, the optimization, and then the wrap up. And that is our entire back end for the actual ClickUp space of it. But there's more features that they get as well that just makes it easier. So let's jump into the overall Zap space. The two Zaps that I primarily use, one is going to be, pull it over here, when actual proposal is sent. So there's a lot of things happening, but when a proposal is sent, you get a text, you get added to ClickUp, or it finds you off of my ClickUp list. And then based on who you are, what type of project it is, it's going to do some things. It's going to update it or create it. And then the other one that happens is going to be after you go ahead and sign the proposal, it's going to automatically create a couple of things. It's going to create it's going to update the records in ClickUp. It's going to go ahead and say, okay, let's create that folder. I have a tracker that I use. I add you to MailerLite. I go ahead and send you a text. I add you to the Airtable data insight tracker that I've showed you guys before. I go ahead and I also add you inside of Slack, which I'm going to show you. We create Google folders from here. You get the invitation for that, as well as it's going to go ahead and add you to that actual pending client list as well. But the juice and the meat doesn't actually really happen until you see the actual Slack, because Slack is how we communicate with you. And this is what we call like our client portal. And so what we do inside of our client portal, you get a welcome message. This is automatically added from that Zap that you saw. You have the ability to see this workflow. We add specific questions to learn more about you. And then from that, we also celebrate birthdays. We also create a timeline as well. You do have a tab that you get for your overall task. And this task list is really specific to making sure that you can be able to see everything we need from you. It's assigned specifically to you. And if you ever want to submit us a task, you can as well. All the things is going to be a space where we centralize all of our important links with you, as well as important resources and your timeline. So that's what we book out here. And we use this entire workflow as well for every project that we do. So if you're doing any type of workflow project with us, even if we're doing operations support, we do that as well. And then the Royal Way is telling you a bit about who we are, what we do, our team, our best practices, out of office, all the things. We go ahead and we put every meeting that we've ever had with you inside of this folder, and we stock you, and we put that in here too, like your websites and the links that we find that are important. So that's pretty much the gist. Inside of Google Drive, which I can show you, there is a simple layout. We have a very simple layout that we like to do, and that layout is having three different folders. We have an operations folder, we have a project/admin folder, and then we have a marketing folder. So it's pretty much just doing everything in a space where you feel really organized, but it's a sprint, meaning that you're literally having the workflow built out for you and it's making it so clean and easy. Before any project gets started, within the pre-assessment, we make sure that we go through what we like to call is like our blueprint mapping board. And it's qualified for any type of project. So you always will have an inquiry how people find you, how they kick off the project. It could be through a kickoff form, a booking form, or a checkout form. This is specifically for SuiteDash, but again, any workflow can work like this because you're going to have some level of connection on the inquiry stage. Then you make a decision. You're making that decision to either single-handedly either push them forward or they're not a good fit, or you just send them an invoice. So that's what this is. And you're initiating the actual project and invitation. And then you have the welcome process, which we essentially would decide on if they're going to have a onboarding flow, portal page, or dashboard that just has different steps on it. Every stage goes through this. There's 3 stages, but I'm going to make sure that I give you all of the details when you actually book our pre-assessment and you are having your workflow remapped. The goal is to make sure that you feel successful at the end of this journey. And I hope that this was helpful to just allow you to tap into how we can remap your stuff. All right. Well, I'll see you in another video. I have so many videos coming and I don't know if you're prepared because it's not going to just be SuiteDash anymore. It's going to be a whole lot of other videos. So stay tuned. See you soon.